Hey travelers, before we get into this, I wanted to let you know that Jeremy has been working very hard on getting us back on YouTube with a video version of the show. So if you head over to Infinite Rabbit Hole's YouTube channel, you'll be able to see pictures of the dense subject matter in this episode that might help you to understand better the concepts that we'll be talking about. Also, I wanted to apologize for my audio in this episode. My gain was messed up and I wasn't able to fix it. But thank you for joining us on Gateway Process Part 3. Now let's get started.
Happy New Year. Welcome
Happy
back
New
to the
Year.
Rabbit Hole. No, shut up. Shut up.
Happy New Year.
This is
I'm
not
being
a good
polite.
start to the new year. Okay.
We already did the New Year episode.
Yeah, what are you doing, Jeff?
I wasn't
did New
there, so
Year's
I
and
didn't get to
Pandas.
tell everybody
We're
Happy
freaking-
New Year. This
Right
is,
now, 10 days into the new year.
this
You're
is my
insane.
first time recording for the Infinite Rabbit Hole in the new year, and I was trying to say Happy New Year to everybody.
Jeff
you know
lost
what?
his freaking mind.
Just forget it. Never mind.
Happy New Year from stupid ass Jeff.
You can laugh into the mic. It's okay, Jeff. He doesn't because he's got a weird laugh.
I don't laugh.
You laughed, you just didn't face the mic.
No,
Don't
I
be
don't
shy.
laugh. I don't laugh. It's outside of my genetic coding.
He's like that
Um,
chocolate rain guy. He pulls away from the mic to breathe. Chocolate rain.
I love that guy, dude. No, I was just trying to say Happy New Year because I didn't get to say it to anybody yet. So. But anyways,
But you were in the New Year episode.
Yeah.
But
it
no,
was the-
I'm saying now we are in the New Year. I am physically in the New Year, and I'm telling you, never mind. Just forget it, dude. Just totally forget it. This is why you should have done the intro, but that's
I'm
okay.
sure this episode comes out in February, but whatever.
Happy New Year.
Continue, Jeff. This is going great.
There's nothing to continue except the document that we're reading. The analysis and the assessment of gateway process. Sorry, I had a moment where I literally forgot what this document was called. But we're good now. So yes, we are on, what part is this now? Like 12 or 13 of reading through this document?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to breathe.
This is the part 3 that everyone's been waiting 2 months for.
Part 3. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. It's been a rough transition in the years for me here. So forgive me, everyone. But yes, we are moving forward on, I believe, section 11 of this document today, consciousness and energy. But before we do that, let's just go around the quick table here. Jake, since you wanted to interrupt my Happy New Year.
I was being polite. I'm hanging in there.
Great.
Yep.
Perfect. Jeremy, what's up, bud?
From my point of view, he just didn't want you to look dumb. I find that noble. Just saying.
Happy New
Okay.
Year.
Well, you know what? I never mind. I'm not going to get into it.
Happy New Year, Jeff.
Thanks. You too.
Yeah, thanks.
And you too, everybody else. Somebody listening appreciated that. And you just crushed not only their, but my dreams. So,
I'll make this more real. Happy late January or early February, everybody.
I keep getting comments about us BSing in the beginning portions before the content, and that people are like, "It's too long. You guys need to stop chit chatting and BSing and stuff." And we're just pissing those people off.
We should
This is
be
our
at
show.
30 minutes today.
this is a podcast, right?
This is our show. You want a documentary? Go watch the Discovery Channel.
Like, if you don't like talk radio, you're gonna hate a podcast. So like that's the whole thing. So, but anyways, I can continue on with the document to satisfy said commenters if you two gentlemen are satisfied with this here intro that we have accomplished.
I think it went perfect. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Great. Thank you. Let me just pull up over to the correct tab here. As I said, we're on section 11 now of the analysis and assessment of gateway process. Let me catch a breath because this shit's deep. Consciousness in energy. Before our explanation can proceed any further, it is essential to define the mechanism by which the human mind exercises the function known as consciousness, and to describe the way in which that consciousness operates to deduce meaning from the stimuli which it receives. To do this, we will first consider the fundamental character of the material world in which we have our physical existence in order to accurately perceive the raw stuff within which our consciousness must work. The first point which needs to be made is that the two terms, matter and energy, tend to be misleading if taken to indicate two distinctly different states of existence in the physical world that we know it. Indeed, if the term matter is taken to mean solid substance as opposed to energy, which is understood to mean a force of some sort, then the use of the former is entirely misleading. Science now knows that both the electrons which spin in the energy field located around the nucleus of the atom and the nucleus itself are made up of nothing more than oscillating energy grids. Sorry, hold on. I haven't read this in quite a while, so I'm reading this as if it's like the first time I'm reading this, and it sounds ridiculous. Hold on.
You could just keep making up excuses, man. They're eating it right out of your mouth.
No, you're gonna cut that part out because I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna read part of this again.
No, just keep
no
going.
Edit. This is straight through.
We don't edit anymore.
Nope.
Oh my god, you guys.
We're like your show.
Yeah.
No edits.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for the heads up, guys.
It's the new year.
New year, new you. Okay. Solid matter, in the strict construct of the term, simply does not exist. Rather, atomic structure is composed of oscillating energy grids surrounded by other oscillating energy grids which orbit at an extraordinarily high speeds. Okay. I'm not reading for a second. This is what everybody, when you hear people say, oh, like the table's not physical, right? It's just like a bunch of atoms and like vibrating. Like this is essentially what they're talking about right here. Okay.
Yeah, you taught this in Science 101.
There you go. What Jeremy said. In his book, Stalking the Wild Pendulum, Iskra Bentov gives the following figures. This is probably, okay, I'm going to totally jack this up, so bear with me. The energy grid, which composes the nucleus of the atom, vibrates at approximately... Wait, hold on. Do I need to go into these specifics, or can we just skip to the part to where we get to the point? I'm just going to do that.
Honestly, I'm just reading ahead a little bit. Atoms vibrate fast. We'll go
right. That's basically the point.
More scientific horse crap. Cool.
There's some, there's some, okay, there's numbers and shit. We don't care. Everybody gets the point. Atoms are moving fast. Everything's vibrating. Nothing.
Next section, holograms.
No.
The point to be made, I'm just going to keep reading. The point to be made is that the entire, you got me all fucked up. The point to be made is that the entire human being, brain, consciousness, and all is, like the universe which surrounds him, nothing more or less than an extraordinarily complex system of energy fields. The so-called states of matter are actually variances in the state of energy, and the human consciousness is a function of the interaction of energy in two opposite states, motion versus rest, in a manner described in the following paragraph, which will be holograms.
That's interesting. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Let's talk about that for a second. It's interesting. Go ahead. Tell me why.
No, I think I'm saying that that it literally leads from consciousness and energy, ends it with a statement such as being described in the following paragraph, and the following paragraph is holograms. After talking about solid matter, or what we perceive as solid matter. It's interesting.
That's why I always say everything's a hologram. Universe is a hologram. You're a hologram. Your mind's a hologram. Everything's a hologram.
So to kind of catch people up, because we don't do that here in the Infinite Rabbit Hole. For those who haven't yet, I highly recommend going and listening to part 1 and part 2 of the gateway process before you go any further in this one. Basically, just to catch everybody back up as like a rewind or a what do they call those stupid things? Recap, right? As a recap, this is a document put out by CIA, right? The CIA Department
No,
of
this is Army Intelligence.
Army Intelligence. This is an actual document put out by the Army Intelligence on the gateway process. Okay, if you need definitions and whatnot, please listen to part 1. That's where you're going to get the real basic information on this. I'm not going to go and beat a dead horse, but basically talking about the true purpose of the world around you and how we can unlock higher mental capabilities. That's really the gist of it. We're almost halfway through this document now, so if you're starting here, highly recommend you don't.
Yeah, the basic summary of the first 2 parts, just in short, is that there's methods of achieving altered states of consciousness, and in these altered states of consciousness, apparently, according to these documents, the human can, our mind, our body, everything about us can achieve crazy things that we'll get into as the document gets further. But
yeah,
that's it.
So basically,
no, go.
They're basically at the point now where they're describing the details behind what they apparently don't consider theories, what they consider to be solid fact. I say solid as a it's kind of a joke. It's a because we were just talking about solid matter. It was. I think it was funny. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Now we're going to go into holograms. I think that's all we really need to talk about. I just want to highlight that, if anybody, because this stuff is really dense. If anybody's having trouble following, I'm sure, if I didn't have this in front of me, it'd be tough for me to follow. Basically, we talked about matter, energy, consciousness, basically mostly matter and energy, and how on the level of an atom, nothing is actually solid. For example, when you go to solids, liquids, gases, and plasmas, basically the classification is how far apart the atoms are and how slow or how fast they're moving, right? If they're closer together and they're moving slower, they're a solid. But then this paragraph goes in to telling you how they're actually oscillating, which, if anybody's unfamiliar with the word oscillating, basically a back and forth or a kind of like a wave motion, right? Up and down, side to side, whatever, that's considered oscillation. And so everything, the desk that I'm sitting at right now isn't solid. It's technically tightly bound particles together, vibrating at very high speeds, and it creates a solid object for me to lean on.
It's crazy. Like, you're technically not touching anything at any point because there's air and like nothingness in between you and the objects you're around.
You
at a molecular level.
You are more
atomic
nothingness in between the atoms than the atoms that you are.
Man.
Whoa. Just a
Whoa.
Never mind.
You good? Can I?
Well, I wanted to say something, and I have to fact check it before I say it because I don't want to sound stupid. So I'll come back to it.
Do you want me to continue with holograms? I'm going to continue with holograms to not bore that one commenter that keeps bothering Jake. Whoever you are, digital asshat.
Got him.
Anyways, my chill hat.
Section 12, holograms. Energy creates, stores, and retrieves meaning in the universe by projecting or expanding at certain frequencies in a three-dimensional mode that creates a living pattern called a hologram. The concept of the hologram can be most easily understood by using an example cited by Bentov, in which he asks the reader to visualize a bowl full of water into which 3 pebbles are dropped. As the ripples created by the simultaneous entry of the 3 pebbles radiate outward towards the rim of the bowl, Bentov further asks the reader to visualize that the surface of the water is suddenly flash frozen so that the ripple pattern is preserved instantly. The ice is removed, leaving the 3 pebbles still laying at the bottom of the bowl. Then the ice is exposed to a powerful, coherent source of light, such as a laser. The result will be a three-dimensional model or representation of the position of the 3 pebbles suspended in mid-air. Holograms are capable of encoding so much detail that, for example, it is possible to take a holographic projection of a glass of swamp water and view it under magnification to be small organisms not visible to the naked eye when the glass of water itself is examined. The whole concept of holography, despite its scientific implications, has only been known to the physicist. I think that's a typo. Has only been known to the physicist since the underlying mathematical principles were worked out by Dennis Gaber in 1947. He later won a Nobel Prize for his work. Laboratory demonstration of Gaber's work only occurred years later following invention of the laser. As biologist Lyle Watson explains, the purest kind of light available to us is that produced by a laser, which sends out a beam in which all the waves are of one frequency, like those made by an ideal pebble in a perfect pond. When 2 laser beams touch, they produce an interference pattern of light and dark ripples that can be recorded on a photographic plate. And if one of the beams, instead of coming directly from the laser, is reflected first off an object such as a human face, the resulting pattern will be very complex indeed, but it can still be recorded. The record will be a hologram of the face.
One thing I've learned through this document is I ain't no science man. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
because I knew some of the words you said for sure. I was just like, yep.
I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at nailing most of these words. Having just literally, like, I'm reading it right now, and I haven't probably read through this entire document, I don't know, in a year,
Man, that's like 365 days.
maybe more. I don't know. It's been a long time, but
Speaking of which, Happy New Year.
thanks, man. I appreciate that, dude.
Oh, you guys love each other. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so holograms, lasers, holograms. Yeah.
I was rolling with the whole like picturing the thing in your mind, right? Let me see if I can read back. Visualize surface of the water. Okay. It's suddenly flash frozen. And then he started talking about a hologram, and I'm just like, you lost me.
Yeah, I don't fully understand his explanation of a hologram. I think, in my mind, I'm trying to think of what university it is.
Basically, it's a representation of a thing, like when they had Tupac up on stage.
Right.
But it's a representation of a thing. So basically, what he's saying is the flash frozen surface of the water with the ripples you can pull it away from that, and I guess I don't know where the laser comes in, but it's a representation of what the surface of the water looked like.
The laser is the light shining through the piece of ice that he's holding. Excuse me, just burped. And that's going to show the reflection of the pebbles. Right? So, like, basically your hologram is an image. If I'm understanding this right, it's like a 2-dimensional image, let's say, like, down on the surface on your table or on the floor. And this laser beam, which is one frequency of light, right, shines through this image, and somehow that's producing a 3-dimensional image. Where's my camera? over here, right in front of you. Just like, I don't know, just like I guess you would see in like a sci-fi movie, like it's projecting from the bottom all the time. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's like shining a laser through something, maybe like what do you call those little crystal cubes and shit with like pictures in them or something?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Kaleidoscopes.
No, he
No,
means
no.
like
Oh, no, I know what you're
Like
talking
you buy
about.
for
Yeah.
somebody for like, Mother's Day or some shit,
yeah, you can get one from like of the New York skyline or something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I guess
Or my
I don't know,
foot.
and I'm just totally
Yeah.
talking out of my ass right now.
I mean, this sounds like something I'd like to try. I mean, obviously I don't have anything at my disposal to flash freeze anything, but I don't know. Like, you know how you can you ever see like a pipe that's burst, right? And it's leaking water in a frozen area, and then you get this crazy, like the ice built on itself over time and stuff like that till it finally closed up. If you took the surface of that, so you get the ripple effect and stuff like that, right? And then shine a laser through it, would it make a 3D object? Or is just this complete like horse crap from 20 years ago?
I don't know. Jeremy's the expert.
Yeah, right. He's the smartest one in the room. Because I don't really understand what he was getting at with there, because I was like, would it?
Holograms. So yeah, it definitely has to deal with lasers and reflections and whatnot. But honestly, we can honestly do a whole episode on lasers and holograms.
That's his way to get out of it, guys.
Honestly, it is, because it's just such a long explanation.
We could talk about this for
he's
at
not wrong.
least
There's
5 minutes.
like
I'm not
degrees
wrong.
you have to get on that kind of shit, so he's not wrong.
I mean, honestly, I know that the laser beam was created somewhere early 60s, late 50s, at some place out in California. I know that has to deal with the absorption of light and the steady creating a steady stream by syncing the frequencies, and because light is very, it bounces all over the place, and somehow by creating magnets and shining it through crystal or glass or gas, you can create a steady stream of light. And how that comes out to be a hologram, I don't really know, but I know it has to deal with the surface of whatever you're shining through that projects a picture into the space that you want it to project into. Now, if you remember, if you've been with the Infinite Rabbit Hole for a long time, one of the earlier episodes, the very first episode that Jeff's ever been a part of, back when he wasn't even a member of the crew, was Project Bluebeam. Now, if you remember that episode, you know that the government or the world, the science world out there, is working heavily into holograms. Okay, they've made holograms where it's actually a physical something, where it can physically move something. So they're using light, they're using the energy from light to create a solid projection, which is able to interact with other solid objects. That's true.
That sounds fake.
It's not.
Solid. Nothing is solid. But anyways, yes.
Fucking smartass. Never mind. You do it.
Good job.
Dick.
Anyways, no, you're good. That was excellent. I appreciate your explanation. It was better than this guy's.
Yeah.
All right, so section 13, the part encodes the whole. Of further importance is the fact that even if we dropped our frozen hologram of the ripple pattern on the floor and broke it into a number of pieces, each individual piece would recreate the entire holographic image all by itself. The smaller the piece, the fuzzier and more distorted would be this resulting holographic projection, but the fact remains that a whole projection would nonetheless be made. The key to creating any hologram is that energy in motion must interact with energy in a state of rest, non-motion. In the foregoing example, the pebbles represent energy in motion, while the water, before its agitation by the pebbles, represents energy at a state of rest. To activate, or in effect to perceive, the meaning of holograph, energy, in this case, a coherent light source such as a laser beam, must be passed through the interference pattern generated by the interaction between the moving energy and the energy at rest. In the simple example given by Bentov, this requirement was fulfilled by holding the frozen interference pattern in front of the coherent light to project the three-dimensional holographic image, its meaning, into space. As Marilyn Ferguson, editor of the Brain Mind Bulletin, tells us, another feature of a hologram is its efficiency. Billions of bits of information can be stored in a tiny space. The pattern of the holographic photograph is stored everywhere on the plate. Interesting. That actually helped me understand that quite a bit. I don't know about you, Jake.
I was sitting here thinking, I was like, I'm just going to check out until after this hologram portion is done. Could you imagine some science-y type nerd trying to explain this to some general in the military? They would just be staring at them like, just mouth open, waiting for them to stop talking so they could go and bomb somebody.
Like, listen, nerd, shut up.
My argument for why the world is being run by psychopaths. That is the argument, because you have people who are super smart analytically, convincing people like generals and politicians. Never mind, I'm not even get into it. So, anyways, listen, I'm going to try to explain this to you. I'm going to dumb this down for you. I'm going to
all right, go for it.
Okay,
dumb it down for me.
What's happening is you have to have energy in two forms: at rest and in motion. And when those two interact, right? So at rest is the water, in motion is the pebbles, right?
Wrong.
Hitting the... No, no, I'm not. Pebbles.
Wrong.
At rest is the ice, my friend.
No, it's not. The ice is the hologram, is the photograph. It's the snapshot of the energy.
Right. That's the solid matter.
Listen.
Okay. All right. Never mind. You're right. Go.
The at rest is the water. The pebble is the in motion. That energy, when it collides, because he said when those ripples, that's the energy, right?
Yep.
Freezing it instantly. What he's basically saying is you're taking a snapshot of the energy that happened between the at rest and in the in motion. And if you can get that snapshot, and in this case, it's that ice that's frozen of the water, you can then point a laser through it and get a holographic image of what created that disturbance of the energies, if that makes sense.
I'm calling fake.
It's not.
How would you get how would you get a hologram of the pebbles that aren't?
Because it's
they're at the bottom of the glass of water now.
It's science, bro. I don't know. I'm just relaying the information.
It doesn't make any sense.
Trust the experts.
Jake, you got to watch a video on holograms.
Stop being a science denier. Trust the experts.
I am the science, okay?
Yeah,
and what I'm telling you...
Stop being a science designer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fuck. All right.
I am the map.
Listen, so let's get into this next one, because the next one is my favorite. Okay. Section 14, the consciousness matrix. Pretty sure we kicked this whole thing off with just reading part of this.
See, the problem is this document builds on itself. So if I miss a portion of it and I don't understand it, then I'm not going to understand pretty much the rest of it, because I look at it right here, 5 lines down, hologram.
So do we need to stick on holograms until you understand what a hologram is?
At least for another couple minutes. So basically, what was the whole point of like breaking then the piece of ice apart, and it's still going to show in a more fuzzy picture the pebbles? What does it mean?
The energy that's being transferred when the energy in motion interacts with the energy at rest, that energy, that moment, is what's being snapshotted. So even if you broke this piece of ice, you broke your snapshot, every piece of that ice, every little piece of this has the information in it. It's not
right.
Like
it has. There's not like movement in the frozen.
Exactly. Yeah. So you could essentially take just one piece of it and still get a picture of what caused that disturbance, and there is your hologram. You're not going to get a clear picture because you shattered it, but you still could get the picture.
So you mean to tell me, and I'm not being funny, I'm being legit. You mean to tell me, wait, is this figuratively you're going to see not actually like a 3D projection of pebbles, but you're going to see that something caused this effect to happen? Or do you mean to tell me that if I were to somehow recreate this and I shine a laser through it, that I would see on the other side of this a 3D image, or maybe just a 2D image, right, of pebbles? What is going on here?
You're creating a
result
3D
will
image that
be-
you can walk around and view from any angle.
The result will be, I'm quoting here from the document,
Yeah.
the result will be a three-dimensional model or representation of the position of the three pebbles suspended in midair.
Hey everybody, bear with us while we take this quick break.
All right, go ahead.
I
They're
love it.
basically just saying holograms. Just picture a movie, okay? Everybody's seen a hologram in a movie. That shit's real, okay? They can do it.
Yeah.
In the 80s. This is 84, by the way. This document was published, so keep that in mind.
Here, I'm gonna read something quick, take a sidestep. I don't know, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know if this is gonna clarify anything, but usually if I need something Barney styled for me, I go to whatever for dummies. Right? It's the thing I go
Sure, yeah.
So I just put in holograms for dummies. And it brought me to dummies.com. And I'm just gonna read this word for word on the page called String Theory Inside a Hologram. That way we can source it correctly. A hologram is a two-dimensional image that contains all the three-dimensional information of an object. When viewing a hologram, you can tilt the image and see the orientation of the shape move. It's as if you see the object in the picture from a different angle. The process of making a hologram is called holography. This is achieved through the interference patterns in light waves. The process involves using a laser so all the light has exactly the same wavelength and reflecting it off of the object onto a film. As the light strikes the film, it records interference patterns that, when properly developed, allow the film to encode the information about the three-dimensional shape that has holographed. The encoded information then has to be decoded, which means the laser light again has to be shown through the film. So, through the film in order to see the image.
Yeah, I
Just-
got that.
Just so
Why
you
didn't you
know.
explain it like that, Jeff?
No. So we got to make connections here, right? The film is the ice that was made.
Right, yeah.
Okay, that's the
Yeah.
film. White light holograms exist, which don't need laser light to view them. These are the holograms that you're most familiar with, which manifest their image in ordinary light. The holographic principle is totally unexpected. You'd think that the information needed to describe a space would be proportional to the volume of that space. Note that in the case of more than 3 space dimensions, quote-unquote, volume isn't a precise term. A 4-dimensional hypervolume would be length times width times height times some other space direction. For now, you can ignore the time dimension. So this is a mysterious 4th dimension that's not time. So they're not considering time as the 4th dimension, they're considering something else. Our universe is a 4-dimensional space that is equivalent to some 3-dimensional boundaries. Our universe is a 4-dimensional boundary of a 5-dimensional space which contains the same information. In scenario 1, we live in the space inside the boundary, and in scenario 2, we are the boundary reflecting a higher order of reality that we don't perceive directly. Both theories have profound implications about the nature of the universe we live in. Hence, the importance of holograms. Did we lose you again?
All right, then.
All right, we're moving on. Jake's
Mhm.
gonna
So-
have to research holograms.
So, I hold on. I just want to make
What's
a
the difference
comment.
between a hologram and a holograph?
It's the same
Holograph
thing.
is 2D.
No, a holograph is what's used to create a hologram. Hologram is the thing that you see in front of you, right?
Yeah.
The holograph is the ice. It's the film, right? So you take the snapshot of whatever you're trying to portray and you flap it onto some kind of film. This film isn't necessarily like a film from a camera, okay? That's too
It's just a layer of something.
Right. It's you could. There's many different things that we can use. One of the most common things that's used is crystal or glass. Gas can be used. I mean, there's a lot of things. Liquid, like Jeff was talking about with the water. Um, there's a lot of different things, right, that can be used. So basically, by creating a holograph and then reshooting light through the holograph at certain angles with a specific laser at a certain wavelength, you can create a 3D holograph in a 4-dimensional space.
Hologram.
Hologram, sorry.
Look, I'm gonna be real with you. I just looked it up to see what it looks like a 3D representation, and then this one was an ant, right? And it
Mhm.
was a light shining through a film or whatever, and it was making a 3D image of an ant, like a big blue ant. We might as well move on because we'd have to get some PhDs in here. Like, I would have to get some PhDs to understand it. So I'm just going to say it's one of those things. If my phone breaks really hard and I can't fix it, I'm just going to buy a new one. I don't have to understand it. Let's move.
Well, this is what I was saying, is that, yes, it was my way of getting out of that question, but at the same time, like, if you wanted to sit down and talk about it, I could sit down and talk about it, but it's going to take an episode or two.
All right. We'll put that on the back burner. We'll do an episode on holograms.
Well, we'll see, because I'm not. I don't know everything about holograms.
You said.
I said
and
we
I
should.
quote.
We
And I
would.
quote.
We
I
would
know
need to.
everything there is to know about holograms, and I can teach you, but it will take an entire episode.
I'm passing it on to Jeff. Jeff.
And I quote: the consciousness matrix. The universe is composed.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why this will be 12 parts. So, section 14, the consciousness matrix. The universe is composed of interacting energy fields, some at rest and some in motion. It is, in and of itself, one gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity. According to the theories of Carl Bribram, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, and David Bohm, a physicist at the University of London, the human mind is also a hologram, which attunes itself to the universal hologram by the medium of energy exchange, thereby deducing meaning and achieving the state which we all call consciousness. With respect to states of expanded or altered consciousness, such as gateway uses, the process operates in the following way. As energy passes through various aspects of the universal hologram and is perceived by the electrostatic fields which comprise the human mind, the holographic images being conveyed are projected upon those electrostatic fields of the mind and are perceived or understood to the extent that the electrostatic field is operating at a frequency and amplitude that can harmonize with, therefore read, the energy carrier wave pattern passing through it. So let me just stop for a second. I know Jake doesn't get the hologram thing, but if anybody else is understanding what the hologram thing is, what this is essentially saying, and Jeremy, if you understand, and correct me if I'm wrong here, this is saying that essentially the universe is a hologram. Your mind is another type of hologram, and that happens because the universe is projecting information that is hitting the electrostatic field of your mind, and that is projecting the universe into your mind, which is decoding it. So it's like this weird loop of it's a hologram, we're a hologram, we're decoding it. I don't know. Does that sound like what we're reading here?
So this is very layered.
It builds.
It does.
It's like an onion.
It really does. This is one that I might need to re-look at and kind of go slow. I just, yeah, from what I can best understand, right? I'm not fluent in this whatsoever, but it does sound like they're claiming that, one, our mind is, or our consciousness is a hologram. Okay, which means, I mean, if you look at the definition of a hologram in the most broadest terms, not scientific at all. It is something that mimics reality, right? Or projects an object of reality into a false space. So, which means that our consciousness would not be fluid, which would be spatial, right? It wouldn't be condensed. It wouldn't be a laser beam. It would be a lamp. That's what basically what they're saying. And then on top of that, our consciousness, which is what is they're trying to portray as a hologram, connects to the hologram that is the world or the universe that we live in. Again, this is something I'm going to have to reread and kind of go slow with it and dissect line by line. But yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like that they're saying.
Well, let me just stop you for a second, because if you remember back, section 6 is literally lamp versus laser, and it explains what you're talking about, the difference between the lamp projecting light all over and a laser projecting a very focused light, and how the mind does that in these altered states of consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's exactly like the analogy that you just gave us.
Maybe that's where I got it from, but I mean, that's the best way I could have explained it.
I mean, I'm glad you explained it that way, because I don't remember section 6, because that was like a month and a half ago. So
fair enough. Well, anyways, basically the point is, from what I gather, and again, maybe I'm just an idiot, and I've read this a couple of times, but I understand this to be saying that essentially the energy from the universe, right, is being projected into our minds. That's just like the dumbest way I can explain it.
sounds fake to me, science man, but you know.
I mean, in the long run, right? This all seems like it's just leading into simulation theory.
It sounds like it's a long way of saying that you don't matter and nothing you do is going to matter, so why even try?
But that's not true, everybody. You do
Yeah.
matter.
You do matter.
You matter to me.
To somebody.
Yeah.
Let me, on that note, I'm going to read this next part of this paragraph, right? So, changes in the frequency and amplitude of the electrostatic field, which comprises the human mind, determines the configuration and hence the character of the holographic energy matrix, which the mind projects to intercept meaning directly from the holographic transmissions of the universe. So, this is the idea of like positive thoughts, right? You know, optimism versus pessimism. You can live one way or the other, right? It's kind of the same way. That's what I'm understanding here. The frequency and amplitude of the electrostatic field, which comprises the human mind, determines the configuration, hence the character of the holographic energy matrix which the mind projects. So this is, you know what I'm saying? Like how you decode, how your mind is decoding the universe energy. It all comes down to the frequency and the amplitude at which your electrostatic field is in your mind, which before we talked about can be enhanced in these different ways.
I mean, yeah, sure, positive thinking. I mean, we don't need some sciencey document to tell us that. We can look at, written experiences of people that, like, had very traumatic injuries, lost most of the blood in their bodies, but were able to stay conscious to the point of being saved because they didn't give up in their will to survive, all that sort of crap. But, yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
And there's another part of this. This is the chicken and the egg.
Mm-hmm.
So then to make sense of what the holographic image is saying to it, the mind proceeds to compare the image just received with itself. Specifically, it does this by comparing the image received with that part of its own hologram, which constitutes memory, by registering differences in geometric form and in energy frequency. The consciousness perceives, see Exhibit 2 on the next page, as psychologist Keith Floyd puts it, contrary to what everyone knows is so, it may not be that the brain produces consciousness, but rather consciousness that creates the appearance of the brain.
Right.
Simulation. You don't even exist, bro. You're a hologram, and you only think you exist because the hologram, you're decoding, like your mind is decoding the hologram in a way to like make you think that it exists. I don't even understand this, to be completely honest with you. You're fake. You're fake. Space is fake. You're fake. Gravity's fake. Everything's fake, bro.
I,
Hold
for
on.
one, am not fake.
Hold on.
I am just as real at work as I am at home.
Hold on, because
You're a fake.
I think you're okay. I gotta, like I said, we're gonna have to take a step back, and I'm gonna have to read this on my own and come back to this
Because he's not paying attention.
That's right.
I am paying
He's
attention.
playing Angry Birds on his phone right now.
I'm not playing Angry Birds.
He's playing Pokemon Go. on his phone.
I'm not. Now, normally I probably would be, but I'm not. I am seriously trying to like listen to Jeff and not focus on anything else. It's hard to do, but I'm trying.
Good news. The next section goes into holograms again.
Okay. Anyways, I think what they're trying to say, Jeff, I think you kind of, from my opinion here is that you kind of jumped the gun with we are fake, that we don't exist, that we are holograms. It's talking about our consciousness as holograms, as in our consciousness isn't physical.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Which we all kind of, we understand that, right? We understand that our consciousness isn't something that we can remove from our body, right? We can't.
But it's intertwining the term consciousness and mind and brain.
It's saying brain as in the matter of the brain, right? But does it? I mean, so I don't know, man. I gotta read this word for word and really dissect it. But what I'm trying to say is, does it really literally say the brain is a hologram? I know that it says, you just read something that was along those lines.
Consciousness that creates the appearance of the brain.
According to the theories of Carl Burbram and neuroscientists at Stanford and David Boehm as physicists at University of London, the human mind is also a hologram which attunes itself to the universal hologram by the medium of energy exchange, thereby deducing meaning and achieving the state which we all call consciousness.
All right, stop. Okay, what is your mind? Right?
Your consciousness.
It's another word for consciousness, right? It's where you decipher problems and information and able to exchange
your memory is all that crap.
Right. It's your storage. It's not necessarily, it's a memory card or an SD card or some sort of freaking processor that lets you process information, store information, output information if you need to, right? It's not, when you say mind, it's not, the way I'm hearing this, or the way I'm reading it and the way I'm picturing it is that they're not talking about a physical mind. Let's keep going a little bit, because so far I want to highlight that they're not talking about the physical brain. Let's get into where they're talking about the physical brain, because if they're talking about the physical brain being a hologram, I want to know a little bit more as to why they believe that. So let's keep going, because let's do this literally line by line. I know everybody listening to this right now is like, this guy's a fucking idiot. But...
No, I don't think so, because, I'm not getting it, but I'm certain that there's at least one person that listens to the show that's going to be like, I have no idea what's going on. Even like reading the document with us word for word, they're going to be like,
Well, this is some dense shit, like we said at the very beginning 30,000 times. And, to be completely honest with you, I don't fully comprehend everything that's being said here. I don't, I don't know anybody who has read this who claims to fully comprehend this, but I do want, like, somebody give me a hold of somebody, write somebody an email. I want
let's
another
get Rizwan Verk back here to explain this to us.
Follow-up document with clear definitions. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's keep going. Let's go to the next line. And let's talk about that, right? We just finished with
The consciousness matrix.
right. No, we didn't. Like, I want to start back right where we just finished off, where it says the state which we call consciousness, right? I want to go from there.
Oh, you want to read this whole thing again?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, everybody listening to this, but if you want an honest opinion about it, I gotta break this down. I can't. This is
Where are we going back to?
We're reading number 14 again because Jeremy wasn't paying attention. He was playing Angry Birds.
The consciousness matrix. The universe is composed of interacting energy fields, some at rest and some in motion. It is, in and of itself, one gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity. Blech. According to the theories of Carl P., a neuroscientist at Stanford University, and David Bohm.
We just read this. We literally
you said you want to read it again.
But he just read this, and I stopped him, and we discussed it. I want to start right where we just left off.
Where was that?
I'll read it. With respect to states of expanded or altered consciousness, such as gateway uses, the process operates in the following way. As energy passes through various aspects of the universal hologram and is perceived by the electrostatic fields, which comprise the human mind, again, mind, holographic images being conveyed are projected upon those electrostatic fields of the mind and are perceived or understood to the extent that the electrostatic field is operating at a frequency and amplitude that can harmonize with and therefore, quote unquote, read the energy carrier wave pattern passing through it. So again, they're talking about electricity of the mind, okay? Electrostatic fields. That's how the information travels from one part of our body up our spinal cord into our brain. Our brain deciphers that and says, "You're in pain, dude. Your fucking leg's broken. Look down, you idiot." Right? That's how the brain works. So they're talking about the communication paths through the brain now. That's not a physical object. Again, that is I guess, depending on what you define electricity, we've been through the light definition, as it is both a thing and a thing, right? Jeez, I don't have the words.
I want the listeners to understand that I was reading it in a way so that we could all understand it. And if he had allowed me to finish my sentence, we would have been right where he started.
Anyways, moving on. Does anybody else have any comments from there?
No, I get it. They're saying that our mind, our consciousness, the way we think and process information, that it reflects the universe.
Right. Mostly they're talking about how the non-physical portions connect to the universe, or information is used through those means. But moving on, changes in the frequency and amplitude of the electrostatic field, which comprises the human mind, determines the configuration and hence the character of the holographic energy matrix. Okay, so now we're into a matrix, right? So I just want to highlight that, which the mind projects to intercept meaning directly from the holographic transmissions of the universe. A matrix is a picture. Okay. Let me just get a quick definition. Matrix, an environment or material in which something develops, a surrounding medium or structure. So they're talking about a hologram. They're talking about the base layer of what a hologram is. They're describing it as a matrix. Okay. And they're discussing now how the brain creates that matrix. All right. Or how the hologram that we live in creates a hologram within our mind, which is a matrix, right? It's a false environment. Then, to make sense of what the holographic image is, quote unquote, saying to it, right? So this is how your mind is deciphering the holographic image, which they refer to as a matrix, the mind proceeds to compare the image just received with itself. Okay, so it's the mind compares the information that is being given to it with itself, its physical self. I'm sorry, not its physical self, the mind, right? The ability to decipher information. Okay, your processor is deciphering the information that is given to it. So the non-physical image that is created within by using a matrix is being deciphered by your non-physical mind. Specifically, it does this by comparing the image received with that part of its own hologram, which constitutes memory, which means that your mind is filling the gaps of information that it cannot understand with things that it does understand, which it grabs from memory. By registering differences in geometric form and in energy frequency, the consciousness perceives. See Exhibit 2, next page. Okay, hold on.
There's a lot going on there.
There is.
A lot of cuts in that head.
Yeah, this is something that, geez, the poor people listening to this. But anyways, Jeff, I stand my ground here, man.
I would like to say for the record that we just went on a 15-minute tangent because I spoke hyperbolically and said that space is fake, you're fake, the universe is fake. I said those three terms, and it turned into a...
I was totally willing to let you go for it. It's like, okay. Because I was curious, like...
Make me the fucking bad guy. I don't care.
What is Jeff's theory this evening? Is space and the universe fake? Or is it real? Or is it something we can't understand?
My point in saying that was only to highlight why I say shit like that. Why I speak hyperbolically is because there is a reason that it stems from. Obviously, like, okay, I could say dinosaurs are fake. Does that mean I don't think that they dig bones and shit out of the ground? Or I think there's not like ancient animals and shit that they could dig out 65 million years old? Sure they do. But is it like what you see in a cartoon? No, right? So like there's always like, it's just speaking hyperbolically. It's just to get the attention. It's just to get somebody to be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Let me click on this and see why space is fake. You see what I'm saying? So.
What are you smoking, and would it help me to understand?
It probably would.
Yeah.
Open your mind.
What I do is
the mysteries of the universe, man.
I go out into the Florida wilderness and I just pick things off the ground or off trees and eat or smoke.
Go out in the desert and smoke peyote. Then we'll know.
You know.
Then just picking stuff off the trees and the ground and eat it. What's
Anyways.
this?
So do you guys want to keep going? I mean, we're at an hour. Like, what do you want to do? You want to keep going?
No, I mean, I'm good, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think that what we should do is we should, on the next episode, preferably, I don't know what your guys' schedule is this week. We should get back together again this week and not leave a 2-month gap between this and the next one. I just, in my opinion, I think that this is one of those topics where we should, even if we record them all in one day, I don't care, or 1 week or, whatever, and then drop them once a month so that people don't get sick and tired of listening to the same thing all the time. I think that's a good idea. This is such a dense subject.
Are we gonna say something next time? Because we just talked for an hour and said almost nothing.
What are you talking about? We went through 3 points in this thing. We are now 2/5 of the way through.
I'm going to look. I'm looking down on this thing, and it looks like it just compiles on itself. So since I am truly stuck in the hologram thing, because I don't understand what it is or what, I'm just going to look up some YouTube videos and have someone explain it to me through pictures. Because honestly, like, I don't learn from reading and just being like, no, I understand. I have to see it, right? I have to see a representation of it. I have to see someone explaining it to me through steps and things like that. So I'll do my homework and look into that, so that way when we get to the next sections and stuff, at the very least I'll know what a hologram is before I'm completely lost again. Cool.
Okay. I'm just scrolling ahead, and again, I'm just dumbfounded by the topics that we're going to be going over.
Yeah, it gets super crazy. I know it's all dense. I know people listening are probably like, "What the fuck? This is not, you know."
This
what
is
we
Infinite
do."
Rabbit Hole for
This
sure.
is exactly what we do. Stop.
Yeah.
But you know, it is dense, and reading through it, especially for anybody who's not reading along the document, the punctuation on this document is ass, which is why a lot of it seems like it's carrying on. You think I'm about to end the sentence, and then I just keep going with the sentence. You're like, what the it's because you would think there's supposed to be some punctuation, and
It's a government document.
It's a government document. Your tax dollars hard at work. This is how they type, people. Okay.
Yep.
So, you know,
Special status out of
doing my
body
best.
experience. Whoa.
Whoa.
But anyways, yeah, we can get into it more. I
I'm gonna
suggest
take some melatonin for that one and stay awake for this.
I suggest you both at least read up to this point.
Dropping Ambien.
Dropping Ambien.
Before we continue, I would like both of you to read this document up to this point. It'll take you
reread up
30
until
minutes.
point 14, right?
Yeah.
15?
Just so you're refreshed next time that
Tomorrow?
we're not doing this tomorrow.
Friday.
He cheats on us on Wednesdays.
Oh yeah. Anything good come out on Shadowbands lately?
I haven't posted an episode since November.
Really?
What?
Man. Good. I'm glad I'm not missing anything.
I want to do. I'm tired of the same content, and I have like some ideas I've been working on behind the scenes.
When are you gonna have me on?
As soon as you listen to all the other episodes.
Never.
Yeah, so never. Okay, that's easy enough. You could have just said that.
I got some plans, and when I drop my next episode, hopefully it'll be what I envision. So
I'm gonna copy and paste this entire thing, put it in a chat AI, and tell it to rewrite it for me in a way that's understandable. It might actually work.
Oh, too funny.
And then I'm gonna release my own document.
good idea.
Just deciphering the analysis and assessment of gateway process for idiots.
Right now, I'm gonna do the hologram section since apparently Jake is just not with it.
Mm-mm. I did just write a story on a man named Steve Thomas that turns inside out into an octopus monster with faces all over him, and he eats people's pets and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Very, very neat, dude. Very neat, yeah. Good stuff. All right. Wow. That's it, right, guys?
That's
We're
it.
good? All right. Well, we'll talk about the next recording off air. That way we're not just boring people with dumb shit. That has been another thrilling episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Hopefully your head doesn't hurt, because mine will tonight when I think about it. Trying to sound like I'm reading off a script. I'm not, everybody. That has been another episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Thank you for stopping by. We'll talk next time when we discuss something we haven't planned yet. Bye, everybody.
I'm gonna prep ahead of time with some Tylenol. Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.
Happy New Year, everybody.